similar to what you wanted to do and reach out to them? Was this?
Well, here's the thing, Mark, and for other entrepreneurs that are interested in this, when you create a product, there's going to be specifics about that product, but really there's some basics about what you're going to need from a law firm. There's some basics about what you're going to need from a CPA firm, marketing resources, PR resources, distribution, manufacturing resources. They're very specific to your product, but that's a place to find those kind of resources, I would say.
Right.
I would recommend that.
Oh, yeah, that's excellent. And
Yeah.
it's good for our viewers to keep in mind that entrepreneurs don't just do the marketing for a business. You do accounting,
we
legal,
do everything.
supply chain, pretty much everything, essentially.
Everything, yes. Oh, I want to also mention, I use social media to find my manufacturer.
Okay. So
in Austin.
Was that through LinkedIn as well?
No, it wasn't. It was through Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Just
and
word of mouth.
Yes, and here's what they told me. They said, go to Craigslist.
Okay, Craigslist.
My friends on Twitter and Facebook suggested that I post an ad on Craigslist, and I did that, and I found a small manufacturer from Mexico that was in Austin, Texas with their commercial equipment. And so I can honestly say now that these products are assembled in the United States, which is really feels good.
Great. So,
yeah.
So step one in entrepreneurship with social media is use the network to find the resources to get started. To reach out to people. And would you reach out to only those you knew something about or complete strangers? How
I would recommend reaching out past your comfort zone.
Your immediate network.
Yes. For some things, for instance, law, you know, if you were looking for a specific type of lawyer, I personally felt comfortable reaching out in my LinkedIn network for that. But really, you shouldn't exclude anything in social media, in my opinion. You should use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and any other kind of social media.
So it's just any avenue that will reach who you're trying to target.
Absolutely. And one thing about social media resources is that you can ask the question, identify your need, ask the question, and when you get information or are steered toward a specific resource, you can also get it verified. And I think that's very important because a lot of entrepreneurs know what they know, but they really
If somebody tells you something, the nice thing about social media is you can pose the question to your entire network and say, does this look like a good source?
Absolutely.
And you can have people that already know you, perhaps, and would not want to lead you astray chime in on that.
Yes. And a lot of other people who are just good mentors and just people who want to interface will come back and give you information that maybe your own network hasn't experienced or don't know about.
Right.
And I've had that happen many, many times.
Okay.
Actually, for specific materials that go into the different towels, I've had that happen.
Okay.
And so it's been very, very helpful. I've had people from other countries contact me through social media and say, did you know that you can get here's a towel resource, for instance, the towels themselves, because these are hand towels. The gym towels are actually hand towels. I've had people say, well, you can get the loops, but we don't know about elastic loops, you know, the real, it's really, it's like having, like you said, having a conversation, you know.
Just ask the question.
It really, I couldn't have created this business and got to where we are now, selling on Amazon, by the way, which is great, which also is a beautiful connection to social media, as you know, online sales are.
And that poses a question. The reason I was in Austin, Texas was for a social media conference sponsored by Bazaar Voice, who does the ratings and reviews on products, the stars that you see 1 through 5 on products, which is a very big decision factor on Amazon for purchasing products, because people see what others are writing about the product, and that's a very social component of selling a product online, I believe.
It's a very personal thing to do when someone will go out and take the time and actually write about their experience. In fact, Mark, earlier today, I had Amazon contacted me and asked me to rate. I bought a flash drive before I came up here. I needed a 32 gig, okay? So I bought a flash drive, and it arrived about 4 or 5 days early. I thought for sure it was going to come this week while I'm here, but I still needed it. I had made a note when I purchased it when I needed it. And you know that flash drive showed up the day before I left at my house? Because I was able to communicate. And so when Amazon sent me the request for information, I wrote a nice little note in there. And that's very personal. You know, I mean, it's very one-on-one. I could have just said, yeah, it was great. But I took the time.
Right.
You know?
If people are very satisfied or very dissatisfied, they tend to leave the review.
They're going to let you know. So. They're going to let you know.
Right. I think that most of those reviews, 1 through 5 stars, are weighted heavily on the 5 or on the 1. There's not as many in the middle.
I noticed that too. So, but isn't that our experience? We're either...
If it's
okay, you kind of ignore it. You know, you don't really say much about it. And if it's really been terrible or crummy or whatever, you know, you've got something to say, right?
Right.
But more of us should, I think, use social media for all the positive things too. Because I think we all see social media in business used for complaints, and that's great. But I also think we should all take time to use it to let people know how we feel good about a product.
Right, I agree.
Also, by the way, I have used social media to ask very specific questions about the functionality of our products, because we have the gym towel,
get feedback from the people using the product.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, there are several different features of our products, and there's 3 products right now that are there because through social media, people have given me input.
That's great. So it really has become your consumer research
avenue
is the social
It's an inexpensive way to do it. I mean, we don't, as a small company, we don't have a lot of money to go out and hire a research firm right now. You know?
And all it takes is your time, which is your most valuable commodity, but if you don't have other resources, that's what entrepreneurs have, is ability to post and ask questions, things like that.
That's right. Yes.
So let me ask you, getting back to this case study, as you promote your product on Amazon or using social media, do you feel like you need a branded push of the product, or is it better done through a personal Facebook page, things like that?
You know, Mark, it depends on what type of product you're going for. In our particular case, we're considered an emerging brand. And one of the reasons why is because we have a very specific name, Torka Sports Towel. Torka means towel in Swedish.
Okay.
And so we used a very specific process to find that name and create that name, because we wanted something edgy from a branding perspective that would appeal to all different age groups. And not be too soft and fuzzy, and not be too iron hardcore, you know. So Torka Sports Towels kind of flows off your tongue. It's easier to say. So we have that as part of our brand, and we have the loop on the towel. All towels, even if they're not a gym towel, have a loop to hang. Whether they hang it or not, it's part of the branding.
So do you represent yourself as Torka, or say, this is Sonia St. James to your friends, want to try my product? I guess that's really my question.
Well,
how do you represent yourself?
Yes.
You personally, when you're on social media?
When I'm on social media, it depends on what social media platform I'm on. On Facebook, it's myself. Although we do have a Torka Facebook page. I'd like to mention also that we were talking before the show that we're in the position right now where we're actually looking for someone to do our social media for us. There's a couple young students from Texas State that I'm interviewing right now. I'm doing some work with them too. And the money, you know, we won't pay a lot, but we'll pay enough probably to put them in gas for, you know, every week or something like that, or in food maybe, I'm not sure. Right. But we realize now that we have to have someone do our social media. And time is money. And I'm also an author, so I have a lot that's going on in my life, yes. So I would rather, and I think that entrepreneurs need to consider this as soon as they can, is to contract that out or farm it out, we'll say, you know.
So what made you put this value on, we need to have social media?
Because I'm not getting done what needs to be done. Bottom line, Mark. Honestly, it really is.
So you feel without social media, your business would have a much harder time of growing?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and let me tell you why. Comparable retail companies, and they're probably going to be cell phone type companies, would not find our products, and our products are complementary to a lot of other products. So whether that be a retail store, but most importantly for us, online, because that's really where we focus most of our efforts right now. Okay, so it's very, very, very important that we spend the time and do that. And while I do a little, I don't do enough, and I know that. And I've had several pros tell me that, social media pros. So that's why. Okay. That's what's pushed us over. And we're also, we've got a good amount of sales now coming online. And that, you know, that's proves the concept. There's a whole lot that goes into that when you design products and take them to market. But I personally believe that social media is the way that really people will recognize, get to know, and then recognize a brand. Okay. Yeah. So
one last question for other business owners or entrepreneurs. How would you recommend starting social media? Would you recommend they try doing it themselves, or immediately say, I need to go find a college intern to start my social media platform? What would be the beginning for somebody?
Very good question, by the way. Most people think they can do it themselves, and they start out and they probably make an admirable attempt, like myself. I would highly recommend that they hire a company to map out a social media plan for them. If they can't afford to have that company or that individual do all the work, they certainly need someone to hire someone to do the everyday, because social media, like you said, is about a conversation. Conversations, it's about content, and it's also about consistency. And
that's a great point on consistency.
It really is, and it's very difficult. And even though, like, I mean well, I just don't get it done.
So if you get busy and you start working on your book, your consistency will go away, and you could probably lose those.
Or if I'm busy tracking down distributors for my products, for instance, and that's happening right now. I just don't have the time. So whether it's an intern student, and there's some, I'll tell you, some of the students, they're really sharp. They really know what they're doing. Or if you go hire a company, it's really best to have someone else take that off your shoulders as soon as you can. I realize that there's you know, a flip there of when the revenues are coming in, but as soon as you can, I would highly recommend that.
Okay, great. No, that's excellent advice. And Sonia, I'd really like to thank you for being on the show.
It's great. Thank you.
I've learned a lot. I'm not an entrepreneur, business owner myself, so it was very interesting for me to hear about your approach there. And for the viewers out there, you can continue the conversation with myself and others from the Social Media Club Great Lakes Bay on Twitter or Facebook. On Twitter at SMC Great Lakes, and on Facebook at facebook.com/SMC Great Lakes. Also, I'd like to inform you that in September, on September 20th, right here in Midland, Michigan, we'll be having the Digitized Social Media Conference. We'll have speakers from all over the state of Michigan and probably some visiting from other places like Texas. These are experts in the industry that can teach you live and in person in workshops how to use social media for small business or your organization, whatever it may be. Thanks again for joining us on Digitized. I'm your host, Mark DeSchweinitz. Have a great day.